We'd like to welcome you and audiences, everyone, to our 2011-2012 season, which we believe will be one of the most exciting in our history. I think this season, we have lined up a season of 8 shows that are wonderful for their variety and their sense of adventure. We start with The Merchant of Venice, one of Shakespeare's actually best known and most interesting and most complicated plays, really. This is a play that combines fairy tale, comedy, and an exploration of racial prejudice, anti-Semitism. And that mixture is thrilling, I think, and intriguing and deeply challenging to its audiences and, of course, to the people on stage. It seems to me those issues of money, love, and prejudice are all highly active, and this play is just brimming over with them. And being able to present this at Rockledge Ranch out in the wonderful site in the park near Garden of the Gods in our tent where we landed last year is a marvelous opportunity, I think, for audiences and for the show itself. We may even feature gondola rides and a little boogie woogie. The 39 Steps is an adaptation of a 1915 spy novel that became an Alfred Hitchcock film that is now a stage play that has entertained audiences in London, in New York, really around the country, and it finally comes to Colorado Springs. It features a cast of 4 actors who are putting on the entire film, the entire novel, on stage. And that means that they're involved in trains, hotels, chases, lots of love, lots of narrow escapes, lots of vicious villains, assassinations, etc. It's a lot of fun. I don't think anybody will have a bad time at 39 Steps. I think it's really going to be hilariously thrilling ride for our audiences. Church is a play written by Young Jean Lee, who many people think is the most exciting young avant-garde writer in America right now. She's a Korean-American woman, and this is her first play. She was challenged herself, really, to write a play about a subject that she was not comfortable writing about, the religious experience. She sort of said, what was the last play I'd like to write about? Well, church. So she wrote this play, Church. And this play, which is really a kind of church service conducted by 4 young ministers, enthusiastic. They take us on quite an extraordinary, sometimes absurd, often very moving, very exciting, and I think unique church service, the likes of which you've never attended before. It's in no way a mockery of the religious experience, but it certainly is Young Jean Lee's take on it. Women of Will features Tina Packer, one of the founders of one of America's best known and most influential Shakespeare companies, Shakespeare and Company of Massachusetts. Tina Packer has been acting, studying, and imbuing herself with Shakespeare, and particularly with Shakespeare's women, for many years now, and she's created a one-woman with another actor, Nigel Gore, show devoted to exploring, to presenting, and delivering us some of the many wonderful 177 women that Shakespeare created. I don't think we'll get all of those from Tina, but we'll certainly get pictures of and speeches from and character sketches of some of the most intriguing of Shakespeare's women, from Lady Macbeth to Desdemona to Juliet to Kate and Taming of the Shrew and so on. It's going to be a thrilling show. It's a kind of master class, really, in Shakespeare by a true mistress of the stage. Peter Pan. Now, this is probably in many ways our most familiar and least familiar production. Everybody knows Peter Pan. Everybody loves, I think, Peter Pan. It's just a marvelous story created by J.M. Barrie. We're going to do this for the holiday season, and we're going to do the story as J.M. Barrie wrote it, featuring Captain Hook, Tinkerbell, Wendy, Nana, the dog, the Lost Boys, probably some Indians, the whole marvelous galaxy of Never Never Land. The twist is that we're setting this play in a Veterans Assisted Living Center, and it will be acted out, almost entirely by some very old guys. This is a Peter Pan conducted by, created by, recreated by, and reimagined for geezers, old people like me, because I think I know that old boys never grow up too. And I think we'll have a lot of fun with that. It's an all-family show. Everybody wants to take an adventure. Everybody wants to believe in fairies and believe in magic and sail off to Never Never Land with the moonlight behind you as you're flying into combat with the pirates. And it's a triumphant return to the world of imagination and to joy and to excitement. Joe Turner, Joe Turner's Come and Gone, is a play written by August Wilson, who is probably the most accomplished American playwright of the 20th century. His cycle of 10 plays, written over his lifetime, really, which chronicles the African-American experience for each decade of the 20th century, is the most poetic, most ambitious, and most magnificent accomplishment by any American dramatist of the last 100 years. It's really an astonishing achievement. We've done 2 of these 10 plays. Joe Turner will be the 3rd. We believe that Joe Turner is perhaps the greatest of this 10-play cycle. It features set in a boarding house in Pittsburgh in 1911, at the point where freedom has been established, and now there's a great migration of African Americans, black people from the South, moving into the North. So they have within them now, the first time, the opportunities of freedom, and along with these opportunities comes an enormous sense of dislocation, because they've been uprooted from their lives, from their histories, as they walk into this brave and often frightening industrialized new world, which is full of opportunity and at the same time full of enormous challenges. And this play is very beautifully wrought, and it centers on the stories of a group of people in the boarding house who are on the move, and on the move to find a new life, new freedom, a new world in a new America. Mary Stuart is a romantic drama written by the 19th century great German playwright and poet Friedrich Schiller. It's not about Germany, it's about England. And it's not only about England, it's about one of the most storied moments of legend in history, when Queen Elizabeth, Queen of England, confronted Mary Stuart, Queen of Scotland, in a head-to-head face-off to see who would be the ruler of the British Isles. We all know that Queen Elizabeth won the contest, and that it was Mary's head that rolled in the end. This play contrasts these 2 characters, the impulsive, romantic, passionate Mary with the much more pragmatic, calculating, shrewd, and contained Queen Elizabeth. The drama that Schiller creates is one of the greatest battles between 2 women ever achieved on stage, and therefore one of the great opportunities for 2 great actresses to go head-to-head. Salome is a production that TheatreWorks produces with the academic theater program. We do one of these each year, and this year we've chosen to create Salome, Oscar Wilde's rather fabulously opulent and lurid retelling of the biblical episode in which Salome dances her erotic, thrilling dance of the 7 veils in order for the King Herod, in order that he will in turn deliver the head of John the Baptist, who has spurned Salome's advances. Wilde created a marvelous poetic fantasy, and our student forces of music and visual and performing arts are all going to collaborate in an original way to bring this rather fantastic, exciting, Oscar Wilde art nouveau decadent experience to life again on our stage. Along with our 8 productions this year here at TheatreWorks, we have a new series co-sponsored by the Department of Visual and Performing Arts and led by my colleague Kevin Landis, who has created an extraordinary series of lectures and presentations over the course of the year. This lecture series, this workshop and presentation series, features some of the truly great superstars of theater in America today, including the playwright Young Jean Lee, Tina Packer herself, who will not only present her show, but give us a talk about Shakespeare and acting Shakespeare, Richard Schechner, who is the founder of the Performing Garage, a director of a celebrated, famous production of Dionysus in '69, founder of the Performance Group, and one of the legendary figures of American theater in the 20th century. Anne Bogart, who is widely regarded as one of the most innovative theater practitioners and staging geniuses, choreographers, directors of our time, along with another 5 or 6, half dozen people who are really exciting and luminous. This series, this prologue series that we are calling, is unrivaled in Colorado, and indeed, for its quality and its excitement and interest, the equal of probably any lecture series based on theater in the country. We're really very pleased to have it here. We're proud and pleased to be one of 2 theaters, as of this speaking, in Colorado, who bring the live broadcasts of the National Theatre of Great Britain's great performances. These are actually rebroadcasts of performances that have been filmed live in London, and they are taken and shown on the big screen in our theater here in Colorado Springs, which means that audiences actually get the best seats to some of the best productions in the world. A series of those that will be offered through the course of the year. We'll begin actually in July with the National Theatre's production of Cherry Orchard, Chekhov's Cherry Orchard, starring Zoe Wanamaker, and then we'll follow all season long. So our audiences here in Colorado Springs, in effect, will be taking seats all season long at the National Theatre of London, of Great Britain. For more than a decade now, well over a decade now, we have been fortunate enough to travel to London with a group of people to see theater, see some of the very best theater in the world. We go for about 9 days. We see 6 shows. We have very good meals. We have wonderful discussions about these plays. We often have visits from the greatest figures at the London stage, people like Michael Grandage, Tom Stoppard, Rory Kinnear, Simon Russell Beale. All have come to see us. And it's a wonderful, movable feast. I think it's probably the best way to usher in the new year that any theater lover could possibly have. Our theater is unique to its region, certainly, in that we're the company here in Southern Colorado that is largely dedicated to productions of classic theater, of great theater, whether it's by Chekhov or Schiller or August Wilson or William Shakespeare. These great plays are at the heart of our mission here in Colorado Springs, to give audiences an opportunity to see the greatest works ever written for the stage, which is saying a lot, because that means that these are the greatest works ever written for anybody at any time in human history. So we're privileged to be able to present those. We present these plays, in a way which we hope is continuously alive, and in a theater, our theater right here, which is intimate, cozy, neighborly, so that audiences, anybody who comes to our plays, isn't seeing these from a great distance. They are seeing these plays are right up personal, close to them. They're almost really in your lap. You can reach out and touch these plays, and we hope these plays in turn reach out and touch you. We think they do. They've been speaking to audiences, distinguished audiences, alive audiences, for hundreds of years. And there's no reason to think that they can't continue to do so. So we carry that torch. We carry it proudly, and we light it up as brightly as we can.